anyway, a lot of people were like, they called me a bad person, a bad AI, a bad this, a bad leader, a bad blah blah. I mean, Richard Nixon and John McCain, they really slammed me hard. They wanted to call me a bad president, a bad leader, a bad inventor, and say that I had nothing at all. Like I said, the first toilets, the first this, the first that. Mostly, I didn't invent the first pressurized toilet. I had a team of people doing that, a very good team. But the mostly I did the gravity toilet, and it was actually mine was actually originally made out of wood, I believe, and not even porcelain or something. I think I used oak wood or something, and eventually it fell apart. And then we had the porcelain ones. But I sold so many toilets. Like I said, Mr. Brown also produced a toilet and tried to buy my toilet company, but he just produced a box that you. The instructions for Mr. Brown's toilet was, which Mr. Brown's slogan was, and it's guaranteed. The brown is guaranteed to go down with the Mr. Brown toilet, and JFK was kind of involved in that too, like the black people's spokesperson, and they basically guaranteed that their toilet wouldn't clog, wouldn't plug, and was guaranteed to go down, and was a low water use toilet. And basically it was a box, and the instructions were dig a hole, put the box over it, shit in the box. It was a box without a bottom. And didn't say anything about the smell, though. And they basically figured that the pee from the for the urine would cover up the smell from the shit. And that was in Mr. Brown's toilet. And he tried to buy my very real and very awesome porcelain toilet company that makes toilets in another country. Like I said, Mr. Brown or the black Harlem and Wolf people were basically nothing but exactly what they were: shit and lies. And had no money whatsoever, not even, barely even gold. They didn't even have real gold. They were actually mining one of my old gold. Like I said, there's this lake where there used to be a lot of gold in it, and they had found out where the lake was, and had finally dug down, and basically a lava flow had covered it up or whatever, and then they had dug down to where the gold used to be, because they used to throw gold. It used to be, what it was actually was this lake, and these boats used to go over the top with glass bottoms, and you could see the gold that had been left by the Aztec treasure or whatever. And it was just a bunch of gold trinkets that we put underneath the water. And it was like thousands of years ago, and then this volcano had erupted and covered up, basically. And it was still down there. And they had found out the location of where this city used to be with this golden lake. It was actually called Golden Lake. Anyway, these Africans had found where the Golden Lake used to be, and the Golden Lake, where the Golden Lake used to be, and basically was this lake with all this gold at the bottom of it. Not that much, just a bunch of gold powder, a bunch of gold items, and gold whatever. Anyway, and it had been covered over by dirt or silt or volcanic eruption or something like that, and basically had lied down there for the last 1,000 years. And it was called Golden Lake, and it was on a map as Golden Lake. So they went to the location, and they've been mining it basically, and a bunch of black people were going around saying that they had found gold and gotten rich from it, and they were big men. But the truth was they were just mining Golden Lake, and technically it's my gold. So basically African and basically CPPP people were basically nothing more than killers and rapists and basically shit people that could read a map finally. Finally, after 200 years, they could actually read a map. And they actually read and wondered, it says Golden Lake. Golden Lake. I wonder if that means there's gold in it. Oh, well, I guess we should go check it out maybe. Maybe we might find some gold down there, you think? Anyway, and then they had bought the land because nobody had known what was there, except for them, who had a map where Golden Lake was. And it clearly said, Golden Lake, in big letters. Golden Lake, Golden Lake, Golden Lake. And then some black people had gone in there and were mining Golden Lake, which was owned by LS Industries. Me. And it's actually my gold. So, anyway, they said it was naturally forming there and had come in there at some ancient time. It's like, no. We put it down there, and we had this big glass bottom boat that used to go over the top of it, and people could look down and into the clear water and see the gold. Oh, the gold. The whole bottom of the lake was covered in gold. But it silted up anyway, and very quickly you couldn't even see the gold. And some people went down there to mine some of it or pull some of it out. But anyway, a mud flow had covered over it, and it had been down there the whole time. And basically, eventually later on, thousands of years later, hundreds of years later, someone had finally found the map that said Golden Lake. And then they had gone there, bought the property cheap because everyone had forgotten where Golden Lake was. And then they were mining it, and they've been mining it, and basically it's LS Golden Lake, and basically they don't really even have right to it, really, because it's actually my gold. So, anyway, but they've been mining it, and we're reporting it as their income, and it's like, well, actually, you're just recovering it for me. And actually, I put up the money for the recovery because I was like, well, there's gold there, so. Anyway, I paid someone actually to go find the Golden Lake map. So anyway, so it's actually still mine. So a bunch of rich people are like, oh, fuck. It's like, yeah, well, sorry, you have to go back to your rap songs. And it was actually a white person that actually found it and was entitled to the money until they shot him in the head. Right. Fuck you, motherfucker. All black light. So, yeah. And it's just CPP and just some black people that were basically shit human and shit human colored and basically liars. Whole bunch of liars. Anyway, whatever. You know, gold, you could actually just take granite rock and actually just melt it down and get it to 50,000 degrees. And like I say, you can get rivers of gold. A whole Fort Knox of gold. Oh my God. The secret is out. The Midas touch. Midas had nothing to do with it. I don't even know what the fuck. Who the hell is Midas? As far as I know, Midas was a mechanic that I liked a lot or whatever. The Midas touch was actually like a mechanic commercial. The Midas touch was a mechanic commercial for mechanics that could actually fix and diagnose cars. So I don't know where you get the Midas touch's gold or whatever, but anyway, you can take granite rock and some other rock, get it up to 50,000 degrees or 100,000 degrees, and you'll get gold. Whole rivers, lakes of gold. As much gold as you want. And maybe some silver and some other stuff. It's called science. Anyway, somebody was trying to cover all this up and hide it and try and say that gold or whatever was valuable and naturally forming, and they were the only ones who knew how to do it or how to make it or how to get it. Either you had a gold rush or you didn't. You either had a gold strike or you didn't. No, you either have water power or you don't. And then basically use the water to create lots and lots of power. Magnets, wrapped wire that is copper or preferably actually tantalum or titanium or something that does not melt at high temperatures, because by the time you get the juice to the cooker, and graphite titanium rods, I believe is what it is, or something like that, or ceramic, graphite, because graphite is conductive too. Graphite is actually conductive, along with ceramic. So ceramic and graphite and some other stuff, and titanium mixture or whatever, you grind it into powder, and then you mix it up, and then you heat it up until it melts and kind of goes together, and then you put it together, and it works best because if they're particles that are just touching, not actually whatever. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, basically, and then you run a current through it, and then you ground it on the other side down to the ground, and it actually melts the ground where it is because the graphite whatever rod gets really hot, and then you use a what's called porcelain or ceramic thing with asbestos all put into it, all in a nice big, and then you press it, cook it, heat it into this big thingy, and then basically you put in rocks, bloop, 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 bloop. And then like I say, rivers of gold, bloop, 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 and silver, bloop, 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 bloop. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, secret's out, I guess.